Uh, Ever wonder what truly sends shivers down your spine? 2025 delivered a fantastic lineup of horror shows, offering something for every fright fan. Uh, Classic horror has always held a special place in our hearts, influencing everything uh, from to Contanune. Uh, these series paved the way for modern shows like and proving horror can thrive on television. Each year brings a new wave of spooky series, some becoming instant classics while others fade into obscurity. Uh, but one thing is certain, the variety within the genre is astounding, um, from hilarious to heartbreaking, grounded to supernatural. 2025's best horror shows truly ran the gamut. Let's explore the shows that dominated the fright landscape this year, starting with a familiar face returning from the shadows. The story of seemed finished, but it refused to stay buried. Like its protagonist, the franchise has repeatedly defied expectations, bouncing back from the brink after a divisive finale to uh, many thought the story was over. The original ending was infamous, and while it was an improvement, it still felt like a final goodbye. Um, but then came a prequel that surprised everyone with its success. This paved the way for a reboot that shouldn't have worked. Yet, with the addition of stars like Peter Dinklage and Uma Thurman, the show was revitalized, proving that even a tired franchise can find new life. Um, Sometimes all it takes is one name to make a show succeed. Um, like Kevin Bacon hadn't graced our screens in a horror comedy role for years, but brought him back with a bang. After a proposed show fell through, Bacon finally got his chance to blend thrills and laughs. And the premise is wonderfully bizarre. Hub Halloran, a bail bondsman, brought back from the dead, now hunts demons instead of criminals. It's a silly, charming, and gory adventure, reminiscent of never taking itself too seriously. Was a delightful surprise, even if its cancellation was premature. 2025 saw two iconic horror franchises make their television debut and had the unfortunate task of leading the charge. From the mind of creator Noah Hawley, this prequel to the 1979 classic starred Sydney Chandler as Wendy, a synthetic hybrid with a human consciousness. While the complex story delved deep into the lore of the universe, it never lost sight of its characters. And Wendy and the Lost Boys are compelling and tragic, and their journey is both harrowing and terrifying. Uh, and it would Hawley successfully brought the sci-fi scares immersive sci-fi style to television without sacrificing the scares. Uh, it's brutal, unpredictable, and surprisingly sweet. In any other year, would have easily claimed the title of Best New Horror Show, right? But a few weeks later, another long-awaited franchise finally arrived on the small screen, despite the strength of stands out as the best horror show of 2025. Like Andy Muschietti's earlier movies, this series blends coming of age drama with fast paced chills. However, the longer runtime and historic setting allow the show to explore the town of Derry in greater depth. So the young heroes are endearing. The deaths are brutal, and the sheer scope of the show is impressive. It's a blend of, and the original movies expanding the franchise's world without losing sight of the scares. Even in a year filled with fantastic horror, reigns supreme. And that's a wrap on the scariest shows of 2025. It's been a truly thrilling year for horror fans. Uh, Speaking of thrills, did you hear about the horror movie marathon? It was so scary. Everyone left with a grave expression on their face. Um, with that said, thanks for watching, and until next time,